Let's go. Welcome to start the season with comfort and confidence. Oh, look at that. This is from Elizabeth, who's in the call. I played the most incredible high C in Mahler last night. Perfect attack, gorgeous tone, in tune for all 10 beats with a decrescendo. And then she posted in our High Range Magic School forums about that. This is what happens when you prepare well for a rehearsal or concert. So what we're going to do is a little bit of super learning prep. Those of you in High Range Magic know what super learning is. And then we're going to talk about outside the building, aka when you're at home or en route. We're going to talk about before the service, the rehearsal or performance, during the service, what you can do, after the service, and then we'll have time for Q&A, live coaching if you want to play something or just talk through any challenges or opportunities. So regarding super learning, I want you all to think about maybe having something to write down if you have a pen, pencil. Notes, you can type in the chat as well. And I want you to describe for a moment or think about the bad. The bad things that you've experienced before, during, or after a rehearsal. So I'm going to give maybe 30 seconds to do that. I'll drop a few in the chat as well. Yeah, we've got missing a final high G in a performance. I've got oftentimes after a service, I might feel a little lonely or sort of just like vaguely existentially weird. We've got discovering too late you're not in good of a shape or endurance wise as you thought. Yeah. There's the old favorite of preparing really well only to find out that it's your nerves or your mindset that completely degrade your performance. You've got feeling unprepared, sight reading, feeling socially awkward, like I don't fit. Yeah, they're coming in. Imposter syndrome before, during, and after the gig. Yeah, getting lost in my head, losing touch with the music. Beautifully said. Strangled sound. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we can get a little contracted and then the sound gets bad and we're like, wait, I sound terrible. And then it's negative spirals, missing the first notes, all of the above we've got, attitude challenges, matching, tuning, distortion randomly. Yeah. So counting 56 measures and losing track, we're going to talk about that. I want you to think for a second about why. What might be the root cause or reason for some of these bad things? Let's give it an inquiry. Is it how you practice? Is it trauma from high school band? Is it the way that you talk to yourself? Is it that your technique just isn't up to the standard that you want?
No, that's Carlos working in the laundry.
Let's keep ourselves muted.
I'm looking out the window.
Please.
Hmm.
We got hesitancy, head trash. Great. Great word. You're valuing others' opinion too much. Yeah, exactly. Overactive self-criticism, losing concentration, mental mistakes, big one. Blowing your embouchure right before a performance. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Too much emotional investment in the outcome. Yeah, that's a big one. Lost the muscle memory. This is all great stuff. Lack of self-trust, huge. Yeah. Yep, self-talk, criticism, beautiful. Okay, so let's take all of this stuff, all of this, bad stuff and the reasons for it, and take a moment and and ninja flip it so we can start to orient towards what the good could be, both at the causal level and at the resulting level. So for example, lack of self-trust, the ninja flip of that is ample self-trust. And the consequences of ample self-trust would be what? It would be maybe greater accuracy, more enjoyment, more openness to my colleagues. Too much emotional investment in the outcome. Well, if you flip that, it would be an optimal emotional investment, or staying with the process perhaps might be there. Seeking approval, the ninja flip might be sourcing approval from oneself, right? Mm-hmm. Being unable to concentrate, the flip is being able to concentrate due to practicing concentration, e.g., through meditation. If you're seated too close to the percussion, there's a big rabbit trail to discuss there about taking care of yourself and like actually advocating for health over all else. Like sometimes musicians will take an injury to the ear because they don't want to disrupt a rehearsal and inconvenience a conductor or inconvenience their colleagues. But actually, that it's far more noble to inconvenience your colleagues than to receive a hearing injury. Trish says she's love to hear about practicing concentration through meditation. There's a whole High Range Magic Thrive call that we already did on that, called the Operating System Upgrade, which is in the Thrive call archives. Yeah, beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff here. So with all that said, you know what you most struggle with, and you know what would most be most meaningful to you as far as a development. So I want you to set an intention right now as to what you might most hope to get out of this, or what you'd like to cultivate in yourself, how you'd like to show up this season differently. If you want to drop your intention in the chat, that'd be fantastic. We can review a few. Developing a routine to recall muscle memory efficiently. Yeah, beautiful. Feeling the music more and thinking less. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Relaxing into the music. Confidence and high range endurance. Yeah, nice one, Carl. We could chat about that maybe. More physically embouchure endurance prepared. Yeah, beautiful. Being older and wiser. Yeah. Okay, great. So we've got hopefully some sort of intention that will help you to organize this information and carry it forward through the season. And now I want to talk about what we do outside the building before rehearsal. And I've organized this whole presentation as a series of affirmations that you can put on post-it notes or repeat to yourself, say out loud. And there will be the full list of affirmations in the slides at the very end. I've got like a resources section that lists all these affirmations. So feel free to write them down if it resonates, but if it distracts, just know you're going to get a replay of this and also a link to the slides so you can see all these affirmations. So I've got 3 for outside the building. I have a positive plan, I'm well prepared, and how's my state? Maybe you could call it a mantra rather than affirmation. How's my state? Okay. So regarding having a positive plan, this is surprisingly helpful. I'm just curious if we get a show of hands. Who is meticulous about planning how they get to rehearsal? Nice. Yeah, about half the hands went up. All right. Now, just curious, out of those who are already meticulous about how they're going to get to rehearsal, do you have margin for the unexpected? Heidi's like, yes. Elizabeth, yes, yes. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Do you have margin for emotional work? Eh, yeah. So what I love is to trust, especially as when you're going to that first rehearsal or with a new ensemble, even if it's the first rehearsal of a new concert cycle, to plan on having checkpoints for emotional um, regulation and vibe management, we'll call it. Not only do you want to have plenty of margin in the time in case there's bad traffic or you need to get gas or a crazy random person stops you in the street or you get lost, you can't find the stage door entrance, whatever. You want to have plenty of time margin, and you also want to be planning on going on the slow side. I know that for me, I put in Google Maps, how long is it going to take from here to there? It says 19 minutes. And so I go, okay, great. It's going to take 19 minutes. Maybe I'll give 25 minutes. But the fact is, 19 minutes is the best case scenario. So we want to look at the worst case scenario of how long it might take to get somewhere and then add margin onto that. And then add in a checkpoint of when you get into the car, when you, if you're on car, when you get out of the car, like little moments as you're changing kind of locations or portals to actually settle, take a few breaths, check in with yourself, and set the intention. So, one thing I do when I get in the car or when I get on my bike is I imagine a protective field around me of just safety and goodness. I take a few breaths and I kind of set that protective field around me. One of the tools that we'll work on, I'm calling tapping here. Now, tapping can refer to a lot of different things. I'm using this broadly, but there's two kinds. Who's done EFT tapping? Yeah, a lot of, and we've had presentations in High Range Magic about it. So that's when you go around, you tap different meridian points. You might try following along with me even for a moment. Just notice on the chin, on the under the collarbones. Yeah, with Phil knows we're going to the underarm. Oh, I notice my breath just even starts to deepen. Energy starts to release. Top of the head, eyebrows. Ah, super nice. If you're sensitive, you might notice that your energy is changing even just a little bit as we do that. So if you notice any kind of disruption, any kind of anxiety, overwhelm, stress, fear about the future, anything other than being fully present and like enthusiastic for your life, that's an opportunity to do a little bit of tapping. And it's better to catch it sooner than later. So I know for me, if if I'm entering the concert hall or the rehearsal venue stressed and I'm an 8 out of 10 stress, what's true is that at some point I was a 2 out of 10 stressed. And it's a lot easier to address a 2 out of 10 stress through a little tapping than an 8 out of 10 stress when you're already at the rehearsal venue and you don't want to look like a weirdo tapping through your points. The other form of, I'll call it tapping that we do is an offshoot of EMDR, and which involves some bilateral stimulation of the right under the collarbones like this. Yeah, the butterfly, as we lovingly call it. And just taking some deep breaths. Oh, feeling the body, feeling the sensations in the body, noticing what's there. This is a good one. An alternative is in rehearsal, you can kind of squeeze your hands. It's not the best, but it works in a rehearsal if you don't want to do the butterfly. So we're going to just call this in the category of tapping. And hopefully you'll remember some form of tapping that works for you. But even just like totally naive hitting of your body is going to be better than staying in your head if you need a reset of some sort. Okay. And remember, drop any questions or comments in the chat as we go. Okay. So regarding having a positive plan, again, you will get a link to the slides, and the slides have a link to this, or you can just Google later on Jen Montone visualization for resilience. It's on my YouTube channel. Jen is principal horn at Philadelphia Orchestra and super woo-woo horn kin in the world. And we did this podcast and she led a meditation about visualizing before an audition. And she's like, okay, I see myself getting in the shower and oh, my chops are a little swollen. So I run the hot water over my chops and do some chop flops. Then I get out of the shower and I find myself getting anxious about whether I'm going to be on time. And I remember that I planned extra margin for the time. And then I'm going down the staircase and I know exactly the shoes that I'm wearing. And it's like each stage, each little portal to the next portal of the entire journey to playing her excerpts and being like, okay, and then I see myself thinking I'm worried I'm going to miss the note, and then I remember to trust my preparation and I relax and then I play it, and wouldn't you know it, the right note comes out. It's like that level of detail visualizing, and she keeps visualizing wrenches in the works and then how she recovers from the wrench, and then she'll visualize another adversity and then recovering from that adversity. It's really cool. So make that part of your a positive plan isn't oh, everything's going to go absolutely perfectly and I'm just going to trust that there's going to be no issues at all. I'm not going to run into any challenges. That's less of a positive plan than, oh, and then some weird thing happened, or oh, then I saw my ex-partner making out with the concert master and got really jealous and whatever. As things are spicy in classical music world. Okay, so that's, I have a positive plan. I'm well prepared. Ooh, we already talked about preparation can be, feeling unprepared can be a thorn in the side. If you're affirming this to yourself before rehearsal, I am well prepared, I am well prepared, you're going to find evidence for this if you look for it. But also, here's how to prepare well. First of all, know your important moments. Most of us know the repertoire we're going to play. We can listen to it. And if you can hear the French horn, that's an important moment. If you can't hear it, it's buried in offbeats somewhere, or it's just a little long tone underneath the loud trumpet solo. It's not as important. If you know the moments that are the highest pressure, you're not going to get in rehearsal and all of a sudden have that feeling of like the road runner running and then the floor drops out and realizing like, oh my God, and then crashing. Oh my God, I'm completely isolated and alone. I had no idea this was a solo. Like, who's experienced that? Whoa, hey, solo time. Crack. So know your important moments, listen, study, and be able to sing them. Because if you have it sort of musically encoded, you're going to be a lot more successful. Plus, then you can sing it while you're gardening or while you're going for a walk. You don't have to be reliant on having your horn in your hand in order to revisit and cultivate your competence with the important moments. Who here, especially from the high range magic students, okay, like show of hand, who's been in high range magic? Yeah. And then who's sung in as part of high range magic at some point? Yeah. And then other hand, if you've benefited from singing in your high range magic practice. Yeah, exactly. Singing super valuable. Okay, entrance practice. This one is gold, like platinum gold. I'm going to quiz you on it. It's so important. I only started doing this um, recently when I had like 152 measures of rest, followed by a solo and and like a long note solo in Shostakovich, totally unrecognizable. What I did was I got the best way to do it is if you get a YouTube that has the score. You've seen those, the YouTube videos that have score on it. Wind it up to the entrance point and just play like 10 or 15 seconds before your entrance and then rewind and watch again and again and again. It's only 5, 10, 15 seconds before the entrance. So you can do 5 or 6 reps in a single minute of it. And you're familiarized with yourself visually with what's happening in the score, auditorily with exactly what it sounds like. And the effect is like Pavlov's dog. You could be ruminating about what's for dinner or like in the middle of sending an iMessage and the 10 seconds before your entrance comes in and you're like, oh, ding, like, oh yeah, that's exactly it. And boom, perfect. You know exactly what to do. It's like Pavlovian response when you do it like that. It's really, really smart. And there's only oftentimes a few entrances that are going to be your challenging entrances that if you do this practice with, you bulletproof it, you can't mess it up. Heidi's laughing.
I tried to do that. I was working on an opera, and
Uh-huh.
it was one I was unfamiliar with, and I could not understand because there was a lot of rubato. So I kept listening to the recording to hear when the horn came in, and I feel like finally realized that the horn missed the entrance on the recording because it was a hard entrance.
Oh, that's
There
good.
were no other recordings.
That's really funny. Yeah, exactly.
I tried.
Yeah. So that's it. The lo-fi version of this, if you can't find a recording, is to just find the score, notate what's in there. Exact. A lot of times these days, your librarian is sending out digital practice parts in advance of rehearsal. It's no big deal to get the clarinet part or to ask them for a scan of the score. Okay. Any questions about practicing entrances? It will change your life if you practice entrances. It will change your life if you do a lot of ensemble playing. Intermediate players, practice your fundamentals. I'm going to talk about this on the next slide, but that's part of being well prepared is knowing what fundamentals are pertinent to that concert cycle. If you're playing a John Williams show, it's very, very different than playing a Mozart symphony. Very, very different from playing, new music. So, no, practicing your fundamentals that are relevant to your concert cycle is part of being well prepared. And then more advanced players, you want to study your intonation. And in this order, fingerings. So if you're playing a passage and you've got an F and the F is the third of the chord, you don't want to use the first finger because that's going to be a sharp fingering. And you want the third to be a little lower. So you could try trigger open, B flat horn open. That'll probably be smack on the dot. Hopefully you've tuned your horn so that that F is completely perfectly in tune. Or you could try trigger 2 and 3, which is going to be ever so slightly low and it's going to be really warm and it's a perfect third. So knowing the key that you're in and figuring out what fingerings am I using in this key? Do I want to change slide positions? For example, if I'm in French horn B flat major, okay, A flat, E flat concert major, and I'm playing a lot of like B flat, C, and D, and I'm playing my Ds 1 and 2 on the B flat horn, I can pull my second slide quite a bit to lower those Ds. And I've got no B naturals and no F sharps and no E naturals. So it doesn't matter. The only time that that slide is being used, trigger 2, is on my D's and my A's, both of which can be a little lower. So pulling the slide in advance of the key is a great way to prepare. And just doing the work of thinking about what sort of key center you're in alone is going to make you feel more prepared for the repertoire. When I was especially playing in the Hong Kong Phil, I pretty much had the key written every section. I would have like pull T1, push T1. That's what I write in my music. Pull T1 when I need to start with T1, and then push T1 after that section is done. And that worked really well, especially as a second horn player. You really want to be tuning so sensitively to your first horn. And then finally, hand position, playing your important moments or your section moments with a drone, and then getting, first of all, choosing the right fingerings, moving the slides, and then if that fails, using your hand. If that fails, then you can lift the pitch as needed. Okay. Clear? Beautiful. Optional. Arrange a sectional. Who likes sectionals? Okay, we got some small mix and a couple thumbs downs and a couple. Some people like sectionals. Some people don't like sectionals. It doesn't hurt to ask. Hey, do y'all like sectionals? You might find that your section is keen. You might find that Heidi's in it and she's like, nah, I don't like sectionals. And in which case you don't. But it never hurts to ask, and that can build a lot of camaraderie. So it feels like your horn section's going in to rehearsal, and you're like, oh, we're a team and we're a family and we've already connected and we've already figured out the stuff. We're gonna crush it. It's like it's game changer. And then optional adversity training for scary stuff. So if you know you have a scary solo or a passage or something where your heart rate's going to go up, practice doing like push-ups and playing it. I've got a whole email about this. If you didn't get it, I can forward it to you. But do some kind of adversity training, whether it's push-ups or running downstairs or, you know, playing it in like an awkward physical position, or doing a Facebook Live and playing it on Facebook Live for the whole world. Do something that makes it much harder so that when you get into your ensemble, it's easier. Adversity training, it's a good one. Okay, so let's talk about your fundamentals. These are some screenshots of my practice lists. And so two of these are from San Jose Symphony. And what you'll notice is that I've got some that are in all caps. And no, these aren't tweets by Donald Trump. The the sorry, Heidi. What I did was I started to think really long and hard about what exactly are the fundamentals that are needed for this concert cycle, playing principal horn with San Jose Symphony. And I realized I need a noble, stable, round tone, total articulation freedom, calibrated and fast adjusting intonation. Synergizers, I can explain in a second, and then specific passage mastery. So that's kind of like a broad category. When I was planning my practice, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to have 5 minutes here on specific passage mastery. Whatever passages I feel like I need to work on, I'll address in there. So it's a little bit just more abstract. If I was playing a John Williams show, I would have endurance and loud, loud, noble tone on there. When I've got mouthpiece virtuosity on there. I really believe that being able to play beautifully and tonally and melodically on your mouthpiece helps immensely with horn playing. And then you can see over here on this was when I was playing with Philadelphia Orchestra, I gave myself a 5-minute sort of holistic warm up, just whatever I want. These nick, jick, yawn tones are a form of just low, loud, long tones that really get the air flowing. Listen to a great horn player to build my ears, imitate an awesome horn player, and then play one excerpt and improve it. Those are examples of things that I practice so that I can feel well prepared for a rehearsal. Does that make sense? Great. And I would love it if you want to take a second and think about it. What's one thing that you can practice that's a fundamental that you feel if you practiced that fundamental, you would be showing up for your rehearsals more well prepared? Drop it in the chat. Drone work, arpeggios, seashell tones, breathing, lyrical legato playing, articulations, soft, high, long tones. All right, so I want to double click on a couple of these. Jack, why do you think breathing as a fundamental will help you with rehearsals?
You hear me okay?
Yep.
Breathing seems to be my biggest opportunity for things that I pay the least amount of attention to. And when I'm in the middle of a rehearsal and I'm starting to feel like things are going south or my endurance is going poorly, usually my breathing endurance has gone way before any of my playing endurance. So I've experienced where if I do some breathing exercises before an actual rehearsal, where that tends to stay strong for the duration of the rehearsal, and I feel much less fatigued by the end of it.
Beautiful. Yeah. So it's like an anchor for you. And if you've practiced it and it's really accessible, then you can just bring it right back in rehearsal.
Yeah, and I tend to be a social butterfly, and I really should set up boundaries to protect things like breathing because it just looks like I'm doing nothing. Because to the untrained eye, I am doing nothing. So everyone wants to talk to me because it's been a year or whatever, and it's like, it's great to see you. I need to breathe.
Yeah, yeah. This is a really great segue to one of the points I'm going to make about once we're inside the building. The other one I want to double click on is combing. If he's still here, you can unmute yourself. Why do you think seashell tones would support you? So seashell tones, for those who don't know, are just starting with the tiniest little bit of air and just barely lighting up the horn the first moment that it speaks the notes.
So my opportunity the most is the first notes. A lot of opportunity to crack in the wrong notes or did not engage at all. So I need to get a sense, and I feel seashell's tones give me that sense when the first note will happen.
Yeah.
Either staccato or legato or breath attack. Seashell tones is helping a lot.
Not only that, but it kind of helps you taste the note right before it speaks. You're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a G. Yeah, okay, I feel it. Even before it speaks. What these two speak to in particular is all of these fundamentals that you listed. I think you could have a little bit to nitpick a little bit more why. And if you have your intention of why, for example, seashell tones for confident, accurate entrances, if you've got that in your practice journal or that in your modacity, it's going to focus your mind on why you're doing the seashell tones and help you remember how they serve you when you actually get in rehearsal. Breathing for endurance, focus, and calm versus just breathing. It's a really, that compounded over 10,000 hours of doing the practice yields a substantially different result in my experience. So think about the why when you name your practices. That's why I've got things like total articulation freedom and rest counting mastery and noble, stable, round tone. It goes beyond the mechanics to the energetic that is included in it. Okay, so super learning quiz time. How do we practice entrances to create Pavlovian entrance impeccability? Hello? How do we practice entrances? Somebody other than Heidi. Elizabeth.
If there's a YouTube score,
Yeah.
find the 5 to 10 seconds before your entrance, listen to it on repeat, on repeat, on repeat, on repeat.
Yeah. And it's best if you can actually join it and play with it. Yeah, as Derek says, play with the video 5 to 10 seconds before. Beautiful. All right, great job, everybody. Okay, and then finally the inquiry, how's my state? I have an embarrassing, really embarrassing, I can't believe I'm about to tell you this, but when I was in my 20s, I really wanted to learn how to like talk to the opposite sex. And so I read, how do I, if there's someone I see, how do I talk to them? And I'm over 30. Yeah, I'm 40. I just turned 43. And the book that I read, one of the books that I read was like, manage your state. Like your state matters more than what you say. And I was like, oh, you mean like if I'm in a good mood and I feel really sociable, it'll just whatever, something good will come out of my mouth. Whereas if I'm feeling all like anxious and in my head, I could say the suavest line ever, and it's just going to be some dorky, anxious dude in his head saying a suave line. It'll be incongruent. So I I thought about that long and hard, and I realized that we don't live in a culture that talks about our state matching the task at hand. And it's extremely important, extremely important. You want to inquire as to your state, and there's some simple things that you can do to check in with your state and then change your state. So tapping is one, framing is one. So even just as simple as I have to go to rehearsal versus I get to go to rehearsal, one feels better than the other. How you think about your colleagues. Oh, they're going to be all judgmental. I can't be myself around them. I always get blah, 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 blah. That's a different frame from, oh, these are like humans just like me. And I know that they're going to be accepting and I'm accepting, and it's going to be a beautiful atmosphere of acceptance. Giving is a great way to change state. So if you ever need a quick state change, go to a cafe and give them $5 and say the next person who orders a coffee, it's on me, and just walk out. You'll feel great for a little while. Giving is a wonderful way to change state. And then vulnerability is another really beautiful way to change state. Actually saying, hey, I'm feeling nervous right now. And if, hopefully somebody will respond compassionately to that. You can feel it out and call a friend, call a friend. Okay, so asking yourself, how's my state? Super important. Do you have any state changing tools? I'd be happy to hear from you if you want to unmute yourself or drop it in the chat. Virginia, I bet you're very qualified to speak on this. Could we get you unmuted?
Yeah, this is a big one that I actually speak on a lot. For me, I'm very physically oriented because longtime athlete. So for me, the fastest way to change my state is to go outside and walk And while I'm doing that, look at the sky, look at the trees, feel the breeze, and
Mhm.
concentrate on the blood moving in through my limbs. And if I really want to double up on that, while I'm walking, I will recite 20 things I'm grateful for.
Oh, power move.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would work.
totally. You can even combine giving and gratitude by asking someone if they want to do a gratitude practice with you and just sharing gratitudes for a moment.
Sure,
That's really
sure.
awesome. Thanks for sharing, Virginia.
Yeah,
Jack, what do you have?
Um, I find that for me, it was really important to recognize if there was a consistent or a common undercurrent that was present almost at all times. Like it was almost for the example, like if you recall when I was going through high range magic, I felt very much pressurized that I had to win a job in Detroit because this is my last chance. I'm never going to play in a big time orchestra unless I win this. So in every vibration that I had almost all the time was this background noise of I have to do this. So there was this ominous stressor that was
Mm,
very persistent. And honestly, going to therapy and talking it over with my spouse and expanding our horizons, that for me really enabled me to get in vibration with myself without this constant ominous threat that was always just lurking in the background. So you
mhm,
might have some kind of very quiet but constant background noise that's constantly feeding this beast that's giving you some kind of anxiety. And while it's great to go outside and get that stuff and that's helpful,
mm.
you can also, if you know that there's this lurking pulsation or vibration within you, ignoring that or at least taking steps away from that is not helpful. Dealing with it, inviting it in, sitting with it, making space for it, and
Yeah,
tackling it
yeah.
is really a great thing to do, especially if you feel like there's no escape.
That's beautifully said, and that may be the case with some of our patterns, long-standing patterns around horn playing, orchestras, colleagues. And so if you know that that's going to be something that will likely be in the background for you, like Jack said, making time to sit with it, well, that's part of your plan. Okay. There's a great studies about um, worrying and batching your worrying and just scheduling 20 minutes per week to worry, and then getting all your worries and just collecting them, and then in that 20 minutes, okay, great, it's time for a worry fest or complain fest, you know. uh Elizabeth.
I have a little imagination game I like to play when I'm approaching a scary passage that I'm working on. And I think about how I would help maybe a small child, or maybe my inner child, or my past self go through this. And so instead of thinking only
Mm.
about myself, now I'm nurturing somebody and saying, well, come, little one, I'm going to
Oh.
show you how we do this, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah, yeah, I actually do something very similar with myself and my little Mars. Thanks for sharing. All right, so these are the affirmations for before rehearsal outside the building. Let's take a breath with these. Beautiful. Okay, so right before the service, you're at the building or walking in the building, but rehearsal or concert hasn't actually started yet. You want to be open and flexible, trust your tools, and I'm ready. These are the mantras that I suggest. So check out this body language for a second. You can just the way that you walk through the building is something that you can bring some easy mindfulness to. If you're really closed, it's going to impact you and others and reinforce something. If you're, but also if you're like super big and domineering, which a lot of people do to compensate for insecurity, it's equally disadvantageous. You want to be in an optimum, something open, easy, physically relaxed, literally open and flexible. And that will allow you to meet the present moment, because as soon as you get there, you can't predict what's going to happen. So many different things can happen. Be open and flexible with unexpected arisings. If you try and fight reality, you never win. Be open and flexible with people, and welcome and lead. So just realize that as many individuals as there are, if there's 98 people, there's going to be 98 different moods and vibes and kinds of days that happened in the room. You want to welcome it all, and that's actually a form of leadership, of leading the room. And Jack mentioned he's sitting there breathing, standing there breathing, and someone comes up and starts to chit chat. This is an opportunity to both welcome and say, oh, thank you so much for saying hi. It's great to see you as well. And to lead. In this moment, I'm doing a breath practice. Could we catch up later? Or would you like to join me? Even better, would you like to join me in doing this breath practice? Yeah. Okay. And then I just saw Heidi's comment regarding horn, being open and flexible. It's really the same thing. You want to find the optimum between being weak, which I can show you. We've all heard that person. They're warming up and they're but we've also heard that person who's in the room, and it's just like, ah, come get a hug. you know, we don't want to find the happy point between being weak in your playing and being domineering, arrogant, aka compensating for insecurity. The next thing I want to show you is super important, and there will be a quiz on this, which is the hand stop wiggle / alchemy. This is a super fast trick that you can do pretty much almost any time. And if you close the hand on your horn, you wiggle your valves before you start to play, and you just it can disengage any kind of hesitation, any kind of attachment to playing well, to playing right. It just allows you to kind of like reset. It's a very quick reset. Mark, we talked about this one, right? Can you share?
Yeah, we did.
Honestly, don't sugarcoat it. What was your experience with trying that practice?
Well, to give everyone perspective, I was in the middle of a musical at the time, and you sent me two videos. This one kind of like putting your frustration through your horn,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like what you want to say. Bleep, 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 bleep.
Yeah,
And kind
yeah.
of just doing that through the horn, all that stuff. And I did it, and honestly, I felt a lot better immediately. I was like, okay, I'm cool now. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
exactly, exactly.
The hay bale was really cool too.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny that when you mentioned that because I play darts too, and
Mm.
think about that, making that target a lot wider. If I'm shooting for 17, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not looking at the little pie, I'm shooting at that. So in your context, you know, thinking that target is like right in front of you with that bow and arrow, you can't
Mm-hmm.
miss,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought
Mm-hmm.
those things were great. But going back to your question, with the hand stop, just kind of just noodling around and
Yeah, wiggling it
frustrations.
out, blowing it out, releasing all any emotions through it. No wrong notes. You don't even know what notes you're playing. It's a really important tool.
Yeah, yeah,
The other way that we can use this, let's say you're playing Bruckner 4 and you're playing principal horn, it's got that really soft, quiet, exposed solo entrance on a top line F. If I was doing that, I wouldn't just practice playing the F, I would practice wiggling and starting the solo on a wiggled note. So I might do it a few times. And I would wiggle, and then I'd wiggle a little bit less until I'm barely wiggling. And then I would just wiggle before the note. And then I would just do it without wiggling. And I was playing that on the F horn just for the fun of challenging my accuracy. So this wiggling thing really, really works, and it's a very quick reset. If you do it on stopped horn, you can do it almost any moment in a rehearsal or concert. No one will hear you, and it's just like, it's like toggling the circuit breaker on a broken circuit. Just a reset, like restarting your computer. Yeah, Mark, did you want to say something?
I had a question on that.
Mm-hmm.
So with with those techniques, I think maybe it's just me, but I feel that other people feel it too. There's kind of a stigma to do those techniques before the start of rehearsal when everyone's kind of getting their instruments out and everyone can
Yeah,
hear each other,
yeah,
and you go in and just, you're practicing, you're kind of testing your accuracy, but then you're missing at the same time. And to everyone else, like, the perspective is like, what is he doing?
that's
And
right. That's exactly right. That's why I recommend doing it hand stopped,
yeah,
or not even hand stopped, but just completely closed and pianissimo. Because in a warm up room where there's a bunch of people and they're all playing, no one will hear it.
yeah,
And it's enough to kind of like reset the circuitry until then you can. It's like, okay, well, the psychology's all right. Now I can play just normal things that my colleagues can hear.
yeah,
And and to that end, first of all, I want to just say you're so spot on, and it's such a shared experience that we're in a room, everyone's warming up, and we don't want to be heard sounding weird or bad or whatever. So the wiggle is my first stop, and then I love doing just breath start, vibrato centering tones. This is much more in the realm of your colleagues will understand what you're doing and accepting it, but what that does is it helps me find the exact center of the slot, which then is super helpful for making sure I'm in tune because I'm playing down the center of the slot. Kind of just helps me get comfortable. There's just this like ledge of discomfort when we're surrounded by people hearing us maybe for the first time in weeks or months or new people. You got to get over that ledge with something comfortable, and then once you're comfortable, then you can expand from there. Start doing range, get open and flexible. And I did like a little hand stopped wiggle down to the pedal D flat because I wasn't confident that I would be able to play the D flat immediately. So I just okay, do a little wiggle down there until that part gets warmed up. I intentionally came to this class not warmed up so that I would be forced to use my techniques. So just keep expanding, your range, your dynamics, your range of articulation. Pitch, like, yeah, your intonation, the relative pitch and stuff. Just keep expanding, and pretty soon you'll be loosey-goosey, open and flexible. And then I trust my tools, especially if you've done high range magic. You've got your TCE, your roll in, your roll out, your alchemy, your relaxation tools, a long list of tools. But all of you, if you've been playing horn, even Doug has been playing for like less than 100 days, you got tools. We've all got tools. So make sure that you trust your tools and you use them. And then there's your preparation and pattern work as well. These are your tools. So if let's say that I was doing the Bruckner. Coleman, can you mute yourself, please? If I was doing the Bruckner, I'd be doing patterns on. I would just be doing that fifth pattern up and down. And then have good sounding favorite patterns. One of my favorite patterns is this. I just like it. I just like it. I've played it for years. It's just my little lick. And I'm like, oh, I can trust it. It sounds good. I know it. It's my little anchor. It's my emotional security pattern. I've also got for whatever reason it's like I'm good. That's home base. Emotional support pattern. And then you've got your tools as well, your emotional regulation, your state management tools, tapping, etc. You do not have to tolerate excess self-consciousness, doubt, etc. That's it. You don't. You've got tools. Okay, so we all remember how to practice entrances. And then would someone please be willing to demo the wiggle reset? That's not Heidi or Elizabeth. All right, Mark.
Okay,
And just make sure your original sound's on.
it is.
Okay, great, thanks.
Cool. And I am also not warmed up, so.
Fantastic.
So maybe a third space C. All right.
Yeah.
And then kind of shortening the wiggle each and every time. Maybe play it until you're comfortable and then. But you're talking about the hand stop?
And then there's the muted version as
Yeah,
well.
the hand stop.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful.
Transport.
Now, one note, you might try wiggling before you play. As
Yeah.
you're inhaling, you start wiggling. Try that. Yeah. There's even less concern, hesitation. It's completely relaxed.
It does come out a lot freer, actually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
to
it's like
test this,
scrambling. It's whatever bullshit gets in the way right before we start a note, it like takes that away.
yeah, yeah. So like.
Yeah. That beautiful. Thanks.
Yeah.
Great demo.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. And then finally, I'm ready. This affirmation is pretty self-explanatory. Just trust and affirm that you're ready. Look for that. And beyond that, realize that you're at rehearsal to serve, to share, to connect, to express, to have fun. You're not there to get validation. In a sense, you're not even really there to you're not there to like use rehearsal for your own selfish means for anything. So just remember, I'm ready. I'm here to give, and I'm ready to give. And you can set an intention, like my intention is to come back to my breath whenever I can, or you can set a clear, achievable goal, like I want to uh, like really pay attention to my fingers when I'm playing fast passages, or I'd like to uh, play as in tune as possible. I guess maybe those aren't clear, achievable goals. But sometimes you can set clear goals for yourself. And then as a bonus, you can invoke your ancestors, your teachers, your lineages, your role models. Take a second. I might sit there and say, okay, I feel my mother's ancestors, my left side, my father's ancestors. Here I am, my clan, my heritage, my roots are here with me, and I honor them, and I honor the forces that have brought life given to me, that I can walk this planet and live this life, be here right now in peace to play a rehearsal. I honor my teachers. I honor Myron Bloom. I honor Mika Holtzel. I honor Jeff Nelson. I receive all of the great teachers that I worked with throughout my time as a horn player. The lineages, the Arnold Jacobs lineage, the whatever, and my role models, my etc. And it's actually kind of creates this cool field around you of like, oh yeah, actually I'm this is cool. Like I've been places. And it reminds you that you're not alone. So before the service, I'm open and flexible. I trust my tools. I'm ready. Let's receive a nice deep breath with that. And then during the service, I take good care of myself. I'm in the music, not my ego. And this is an infinite game. So we want to take care of ourselves and actually keep our cup filled so that we're not drained. You want to manage your nervous system, your thoughts and emotions. So if you start to spiral a little bit, just come back. Take good care of yourself, Honor your chops, don't waste them. If the band director insists on yet another run through and you're toast, don't play as much. Don't hurt yourself. Don't override or abandon your physical well-being for anybody else's instructions. You are the ultimate authority of your body and your mind and your emotions. Don't give that authority away. Be in consent to what you participate in. And if you're in an ensemble that regularly you feel pressure to abandon your consent, you might reconsider that ensemble. And then tending to to the body, movement. There's little things we can do. I like to cross one ankle over the knee. I invite you all to try that. You've got your ankle on a knee. Let's say it's your right ankle on your left knee, and then you can take your right hand, you can push down on your right knee and create a little stretch. If you hear a snapping sound as you've gone too far, just breathe into that. Ooh, yeah, you can grab it with the left. You can grab your knee with your left hand, do a little twist in place. Ooh, boy. You can do neck rolls, you can do shoulder rolls, you can do hand stretches. There's a lot you can do to really care for and love on your body in rehearsal. Yeah, beautiful. And then think about how you fill your cup at rehearsal. Sometimes for me, one way I fill my cup is by like listening imaginatively, like trying to see whether any kind of visions or shapes enter my imagination when I'm listening to the music. I fill my cup through playing in my body and like really practicing relaxing and flowing in my body, that's my kind of play and fun, you'll find your own ways. You want to be in the music, not the ego, okay? So an external focus, not internal, external. This will paradoxically improve your accuracy. If you just get in the music and you're able to get your attention out of yourself and out of your ego, that is the biggest way to improve your accuracy, all other things being equal. And entrance preparation complements this. Entrance preparation is all about getting your energy and your awareness out into the music rather than 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. I know it's 52. Okay, here it comes. Well, all that stuff. No, just be out. So just think about this for a second. What colleague do you want sitting next to you? Is it the colleague that's in their head, that's thinking about their self-worth, that's wondering what everyone's thinking about them? So think about what colleague you want sitting next to you and what you want them to be paying attention to. You probably want them, you would love it if they're thinking how great you sound, right? So be that colleague. It's that easy. And then if you're really bored, you can do a little internal focus. If you're playing a bunch of offbeats, yeah, sure, think about what your lower lip is doing. But you can get external as well and think about how am I lining up with the snare drum, or, there's all sorts of things that you can feel connected. We play in ensembles because we're connecting with outside of ourselves, right? So make the most of the opportunity. Now, briefly, I'm going to read a couple quotes from Sword Martial Arts. I really wish people would stop doing so many of these internal versus external studies, because it always shows an external being better, and we could be looking into so many more interesting topics instead. Or in golf, studies, including those published in esteemed journals like the Journal of Sports Science, consistently highlight the benefit of an external focus of attention. And if you want an entire book on this, you can get Choke, What the Secrets of the Brain Reveal About Getting It Right When You Have to. But the TLDR of Choke is have an external focus, not an internal focus. Again, this slide has all the links and everything, so you'll get that. So external focus, say you're shooting a basketball, is where you want the ball to go rather than what you do with your hands. You're thinking about in the hoop or passing it to that person, not, oh, now I'm going to do this with my elbow and try and coordinate all that stuff. Do that in the practice room. There's a time, but usually not in the service. And finally, infinite game. So there's at least two kinds of games. One could be called finite, the other infinite. A finite game is played for the purpose of winning, and then it ends. An infinite game is played for the purpose of continuing the play. This is a cool book, Finite and Infinite Games, a vision of life as play and possibility. So many of us grew up playing finite games that have a winner and a loser, and it ends when somebody wins. And music is not that. As Victor Wooten says, practicing music is like counting to infinity. You always go further, but you never get closer. It's an infinite game. And if you realize that and repeat that to yourself as a mantra, you won't get so caught up on winning or losing, missing a note, not getting a note. It's just all part of the game. Of course there will be challenges. Of course there will be harrowing moments. That's the fun of life. Okay. So, during the service, I take good care of myself, which could include wiggles, by the way. I'm in the music, not my ego. It's your shortcut to accuracy and enjoyment and infinite game. And when it's an infinite game and no one's winning or losing, it gives you a lot more appreciation for your colleagues as well. And then after the service, you're driving home. I feel like I've been all of these in the car at one point or another after a rehearsal. I'm thankful. Reflect and respond. Iteration is my superpower. These are my after service mantras. So, regarding being thankful, do give thanks to the music. In some song traditions, there's a tradition of after the song is sung, you say, "Thank you, song. Thank you for giving me inspiration," or "Thank you for your beautiful melody." Imagine if you thanked the music. "Thank you for your copious offbeats, Sousa March." Put your horn away with respect and gratitude. I can't stress this enough. You know, you go to a dojo, you bow in, you show your respect. You finish training, you bow out, you show your respect. It's the same thing with the horn. If you get in the habit of putting your horn away and saying, "Thank you, horn. I respect you, and I respect myself. I have gratitude to be a horn player today." Doing that over the years makes a big difference. Elizabeth says, "Someone once walked in on me, whispering sweetly to my horn as I put it in the case." And that's why you're a teaching assistant for High Range Magic. Thank your colleagues, okay? And who knows what inarguable means when it comes to speech? Inarguable. Anybody? It means that you can't argue with what I'd said. So, for example, if I said, "Ruth, you're really smart." Well, Ruth could argue with me, or someone could argue with me. It's arguable, right? We can argue about whether Ruth is smart or not. But if I say, "Ruth, you seem really smart to me," nobody can argue with that. Can you argue with that, Ruth? No. She's smart, so she knows that I can't argue with it. and so I noticed this a lot when especially playing in San Francisco Symphony, and not to bash them at all. It was just coming from innocence, and I think not knowing better. But a lot of the colleagues would finish rehearsal and they might say, "Good job, man. Sounds good," right? We've all said that. We've all heard it. We've all said it. Sounds good. But actually, it's a very arguable statement. And unfortunately, most musicians are gonna it's just gonna bounce right off of them. Sounds good? Who are you fucking kidding? I'm a piece of trash horn player. Come on, don't tell me I sound good. What are you messing with me? Like, what? But if you say, "I really enjoyed your playing," well, that's inarguable. I can't take away your truth. I can't take away your enjoyment. If you said, I thought I was really impressed by your intonation. I was moved and inspired by your sound. I'd love to sound more like you. I've got your tone in my ear, right? I really enjoyed playing with you. It's inarguable. Who wants to practice expressing an inarguable gratitude right now? Heidi.
It's always a joy to play with you.
Okay, good one. That's actually arguable.
For me, it is.
That's arguable. It's always is arguable.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. Let's try it. Try again.
I really loved the way you played softly in that
Yeah.
passage.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
drew me in.
Yeah. Ooh, nice. You could also say, if you want to stick with "I always love playing with you," you could say, "Every time I've played with you, to date, I've enjoyed it.
I like that.
Yeah, that would be inarguable. Always is tricky because it projects into the future, infinite timeline moving forward, which can be arguable. Yeah, just like never. You never do the dishes. Elizabeth.
One thing I've said is every time I play with you, you remind me of how I'd like to sound. And the best
Mm.
compliment I ever got was, I aspire to one day play a note like that.
Wow, yeah. Yeah. Completely inarguable. The best compliments are usually inarguable. Yeah, at some level. So thank your colleagues, thank your horn, thank the music. And if you want, thank your ancestors and all that stuff. Yeah, I feel honored to play with you. Exactly. Can't argue with that. I don't think I'm sharing my screen. Hang on. Am I? Am I sharing my screen? No. Okay. Sorry. So regarding reflecting and responding, I love to take my phone in rehearsal and stick it out in the hall and make a voice memo for two reasons. One, it means that I'm not on my phone during rehearsal, which is great. And number two, then I have a voice memo of rehearsal, and I listen to that on my way home, and that's my way of like digesting what happened and listening and kind of fact checking. Oh, I thought that sounded good. Did it actually sound good? Or wow, I feel like I chipped that note. Was it really bad? No, actually, it wasn't so bad. Or oh wow, that was actually really noticeable. And then, uh, if you have strong emotions, tend to them. That's what it means to be responsible, not reacting. Don't suppress them, right? Don't just stuff it down. That'll turn into disease. Don't invalidate them and say, "Oh, I shouldn't be discouraged or frustrated. Who am I to feel frustrated when, you know, there's kids halfway across the world struggling for a meal?" That doesn't serve anybody to invalidate your emotional reality. On the other hand, don't let it run the show. So validate. Yeah, wow, I genuinely feel really discouraged right now. I feel really frustrated. And that is so real. And I'm going to breathe with that. I'm going to tap with that. I'm going to take a minute and journal on it and explain, try and really get to the bottom of what this means for me. Emotions are signals of something. I remember coming home from a rehearsal at Bard College, and I was playing Brahms 2, Principal Horn, and I just was really frustrated. I think I had some case of the hesitations. And I was in the car. I'm not proud to admit this, but we're all imperfect humans. And I was just like driving home and just screaming in fury and anguish and discouragement. And it was just so painful. I didn't know how to be with my emotions at that point in my life. I just reacted and released it when I had the privacy to do so. It's suboptimal, you know? It didn't really get me anywhere. It just made me kind of hoarse. These days I would treat that a lot differently. So allow the experience to fully integrate. Okay, and I'm going to talk a little bit about more of that with this iteration is my superpower. If you've heard the quote, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." Uh-huh. Iteration is a superpower. So if you're feeling good after rehearsal, after your service, focus on what went well, and think about how it can go even better, how you can iterate on it. And if you're feeling down or you're feeling discouraged, it's okay. I'm going to actually suggest that you focus on what didn't go well, because to try and focus on what did go well may feel invalidating if you're feeling down and you can't shake the down feeling. So it's okay. Focus on what didn't go well. Dang, I missed that note. Dang, I had hesitations. Whatever. And brainstorm on how you can improve that specifically. Um, one thing that I like to do, I don't think this made it in the slides, unfortunately, is relive a negative experience while reprocess it. So a couple summers ago, I was playing a lot of principal horn at the summer festival with a new orchestra, and I was playing Tchaik 2, which starts out with this big horn solo, and is high risk for hesitant attacks if you run in that direction. And I hesitated in the first rehearsal, and I didn't get upset about myself, but it wasn't what I wanted. So that night, I just I took my time and I remembered it, and I remembered the shame and the frustration and the, oh my God, I'm supposed to be good at horn and I thought I solved this, and just everything, and just reprocessed it until I felt no charge. And I saw myself sitting in the principal horn seat, the conductor giving the downbeat in slow-mo, me locking up, the shame rising, the fear. I saw it all until it had no power over me anymore. And then I visualized something different. Once I cleared the charge, then I saw myself sitting there confident, open, ready, trusting. I saw the conductor give the downbeat, and I saw myself release the note confidently in perfect time. And that solved it for me. That solved it. I played it beautifully from then on. Elizabeth says, way better to honor that process than lie away with the negative experience flowing through you unmanaged. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, lie awake. Yeah, even worse. Sleep is part of taking care of yourself when you're a French horn athlete. And then have an experimental mindset. Oh, okay, well, I have a hypothesis. If I eat, maybe if I eat 2 Chipotle burritos before rehearsal, I'll feel more grounded. Try it. Write down your results. Maybe try some. If you don't get the result you wanted, try something else. That's it. Just experiment. That's it. Iteration is a superpower. Okay, so that's after the service. Okay, this is part of the slides just for reference. The principles: preparing well, stay open, take care of yourself, external, not internal focus, infinite game, inarguable speech, record, reflect, iterate, respond. We've got the affirmations here for you to look at, some tools, and then the horn tools that we talked about. So that's the presentation portion. Thank you for attending. And now I will open the floor for questions or coachings if you want to play something. Elizabeth would love to play. Okay. Let's do
Oh,
it.
yay. I get to go first. Yay.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to back up a bit because my horn tends to overwhelm this room and the microphone. All right, so I'm playing first in the Dvorak Serenade in a few weeks.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah. Yes, original sound is on. So I'm only playing first on the third movement, which is that beautiful movement. I think that the stopped horn wiggle warm up will really help me with this.
Nice. Try doing it more gently, so think less stopped horn and more muted, completely
Okay.
muted, soft, pianissimo murmurs.
Does that sound more like it?
I mean, for me, it's more like. It's quite quiet.
Do you have your hand fully stopped or just kind of?
It's just kind of in there. It's more like a pillow than a
Okay.
stop mute. Yeah,
Oh yeah, there's a difference.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then just to elaborate for a moment, rather than putting like orchestral air through the horn, like, oh, I'm gonna make a horn tone, just like if you were whispering, think of it as a whisper. Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go. Nice. Okay.
All right. There's that passage and a bunch of others after that, but we can just focus on one
Okay.
or more.
Is there a particular form of support that you're looking for?
Hmm. Well, this was part of the doing something scary to prepare. So check. Did that.
Yes.
I'm having a lesson on this in a couple weeks too, which is going to help. I
Mhm.
was brave and contacted Jonathan Ring, so
Oh,
I'm going
nice.
to do that scary thing, two scary things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this I think what's missing in my preparation is listening to really great recordings more and
Yes,
also creating patterns and exercises around this page of music.
that's right. Yeah, that's the main thing that I heard when you played it is I didn't really hear the ensemble with you, and I
Right.
didn't hear the style. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel like you were embodied and integrated in the style and vibe of the piece as much as you could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for sure, playing along with some recordings and having it in your heart and in your soul as you play the excerpts will be very helpful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because technically, it's like you nailed it. There were no technical issues that I perceived.
That's a huge win though, because my
Mm-hmm.
first goal was to just stop missing so many dang notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Eve asks, do you hear the ensemble in your mind when practicing? Was that for Elizabeth or for me or general or?
Oh, well, if it's for me, I don't think I am aware enough of what the ensemble's doing in this part. Like,
Mm.
if you asked me what the second and third horns are doing, I would have zero clue because I'm
Mm.
so focused on myself, which doesn't help me externalize the music. So that's a great thing to point out.
Mm-hmm.
Morris, as you were saying it, I was typing it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so we were thinking about it. Excellent.
Oh, and then what about the cello? I don't know. I have no idea. It's so silly.
Yeah. Okay, great.
This is the girl who plays cello. Yes. Like, so shameful.
Does that feel good, Elizabeth, or do you want to play more?
I'd love to leave more space for other people if everyone else wants to play.
Yeah, because you sounded great, and you know exactly what's next to do, and you're doing everything right. So
Yeah. And I
I
can
think,
end on a high note, not mess up. So
yeah,
yay, I'll stop now.
for the affirmations that I particularly suggest for you, I'm well prepared. I trust my tools. I take good care of myself. I'm in the music. Like if you start to cultivate those as your focus points.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, well, Phil wanted to do some excerpts, and then if anybody else wants to play, you can drop in the chat and queue up
Thank you.
if you have any questions. Thanks, Elizabeth. Especially Carl, Lori, you don't have the advantage of high range magic, so at least not yet. So you might as well take advantage of it. All right, Phil.
Okay, so I am looking to sort of get into the freelance scene in the Bay Area, and as part of that, starting to play for some local principals, one of which next week, Meredith Brown. So I played for Bob Ward yesterday and went really well. Played down, I was thinking like 5 or 6 excerpts for him, and I was doing like Mozart 2, Siegfried Short Call, Pavan, Brahms 3, Shasti 5, and then Mahler 1, the low thing. And so
Yeah.
cover enough bases.
Ooh.
Oh, and Tilly Lynchspiegel as well.
Okay.
But I figured maybe like if you have time for like maybe 1 or 2 excerpts or whatever there's time for.
I'd love to hear Till.
Okay.
All right, nice. And what would you feel is most supportive in a coaching direction? Or just Mara's
I think,
pick?
helpful feedback, whatever, things that move things in the right direction. I think for the context of this, I have like about 9 days, or actually less than 9 days. So I only can do so much in a week, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I mean, you got that in shape sound.
Cool.
I love that. Just as an experiment, what if you play it and you hold the low C like 3 times as long, just a very long time? Yeah, there we go. So I might recommend that you figure out like what's the minimum duration that I can play it and sound solid, and then continue to shrink that minimum duration.
It's definitely like a trust thing. I think it just new embouchure, and
Yep.
still trusting. I think loud volumes on that, in the low range. Still trying to figure out what's the envelope for that. What's gonna work. What's gonna be the safest spot in terms of like playing under pressure.
Totally. Yeah. Well, you're doing good adversity training, and you may need to integrate some more failures. But again, that's like the infinite game mindset. Like, okay, sure, whatever. The thing that I noticed is as well, just rhythmically. Can you can you clap and sing? Yep, keep going.
Oh, yeah. It's the notorious thing with Till. Yeah.
One more time.
Ah, it's hard, yeah.
Yeah.
It keeps you honest.
So let's take it nice and slow. Da 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 dee, da 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 dee, da 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 da. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's something that you can do away from the horn to bulletproof this excerpt, because it's got that sound. It's kind of got like the sound of it's not quite in the rhythmic pocket sound that the fine-tuned excerpt ear hears. It's like, I know you know the rhythm, but if you can land it in that pocket, then it's like, oh, that's so nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of metronome work is probably in my future.
I would say with your own pulse
Okay.
is going to be way better than metronome. Like when you're walking.
Just so it's like so ingrained and almost like automatic by the time I'm like actually on the horn.
Yeah, because you want it to be such that you'd crush this with a metronome. I have no doubt that you put a metronome on and you crush it every time. It's about being able to generate the internal pulse and the funky melody at the same time. It's like you're managing kind of two things. Mm-hmm. Cool. How about one more?
Siegfried?
Yeah. Woo! Lovely. Okay, so we know the key. What do you notice about your intonation?
It's a little I think a little bit bright, I guess, probably a little bit sharp on some spots.
Yep.
Thumb one too.
Exactly. So what's there's a slide positioning that we can do for this specific excerpt that will give us optimal intonation in concert F major.
So something with the first tuning slide on thumb horn.
Yeah, because you're not using B flat 1 for anything except the D's, right? Or maybe the A's, which are probably going to be sharp anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But with A, you've got so many options you could use. Or you could use T3 for the D. You could use T3 for the A. Like, you'll find it on your horn.
How does that feel with thumb three?
Yeah, that sounded pretty good. And then you're going to want to check that G is the only thing that you're playing on the F horn.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you can tune your F horn. So that partial on my F horn is super sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Ludicrously sharp. So if I was playing that, I would just pull it all the way. Yeah.
And that's with thumb three for that fifth.
Yeah. And then what you might want to do is like put the tuner down, close your eyes, play it with vibrato. Okay, you're at the center. Open your eyes when you're at the center of the note with the tuner.
Pulling out my tuner right now.
Yeah, let's try it.
It's the one with the smiley face. So.
Yes.
All right, put in this. Yeah, still sharp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, I'm having to close down a lot still.
So there might be an oral cavity, there might be a technique consideration if you're running sharp.
All right, we got a smiley face now.
Yeah, yeah. So getting it so that you can play the note, waver on it, find the center, open your eyes, and you've got smiley faces cascading out at you, and then doing the fifth and going between those notes is just super cool. And if you can find a tunnel that has a 5-second reverb tail, or if you just want to stick a microphone, jack it through Ableton or Logic or GarageBand, put a long reverb on there and practice with headphones on so that you're like in a long tail reverb. That works too.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
That will tell you a lot. You will not play out of tune if you do that.
Awesome.
Not on a Siegfried call. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
you're so welcome. Sounds great. I look forward to seeing you in San Fran when I'm
Yeah,
back.
looking forward to it.
Jack, you want to play?
Sure.
Original sound, please.
Dang gone it.
Someone had to do it.
Right.
Woo! High
All
range
right.
magic.
I am feeling it this week. I had an assignment from HRM Plus, and I had a breakthrough instead, so I went down the rabbit hole. So something that I've been, I think you've experienced this as well, really looking to build on first notes and articulations in general. And I really think I landed on something that has kind of awakened TCE.
Okay.
I'm thinking that the front half of my mouth, from a mechanic standpoint, has just been non-involved on the TCE process, so that as I was trying to do TCE forward, the air was just kind of falling to the sides of the tongue, and it really was not pushing the air to increase the airspeed. So I like to do some TCE kicks and see if that's relatable. I'm finding difficulty controlling it right now, which I think is, I mean, it's been a week, but, you know. What I'm having difficulty with is separating embouchural work from TCE only work. And I think, honestly, the answer is probably just moving too fast. That was probably the most successful I've demonstrated it to this point. But to me, I'm wondering if I should be engaging TCE a lot more often as I'm playing generally. Because I think I've just been doing a lot here. I mean, when you play, I see you nodding, so I assume like you try to engage the embouchure just as little as possible. Is that kind of your?
Well, I mean, I think of the
generic
tongue as
approach?
part of the embouchure
Sure.
in some ways. Like, but yeah, I don't like to use my lips if I don't have to.
Sure.
I mean, I don't like to use anything that can tire out or
Yeah.
requires exertion. I like to be as mechanically leveraged as possible, and I know that when my tongue is aligned, right, there's like the optimum fulcrum place for any,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, and I discover it all the time. I mean, even though I've been teaching this for years now, I still will have playing days when I fine tune my TCE. I'm like 30% more effective within 5 minutes.
Interesting.
Like way more efficient. Yeah. Because I'm coming from 20 years of high range insufficiency. So, yeah.
Fair enough. On the tail end of that, as you are as involved using and leveraging TCE, using the tongue for, just general pitch generation, maybe you can talk a little bit about how you navigate creating different colors, because I feel like the intraoral cavity, you can really make some interesting shapes and vowel sounds, but how do we accomplish that if we're using it to leverage register and range?
Yeah. I feel like that's more about the back of the oral cavity than the front of the oral cavity.
Okay.
So, I mean, we literally can't move a lot about the soft palate. I mean, the hard palate, excuse me, in the front of the mouth. We can't move it at all. We can move the soft palate in the back of the mouth, and we can. I get, even singing, I get more bang for my buck from the back than the front in some ways.
Right.
And then there's of course, engaging the mask, which is, I think, irrelevant to horn playing in some ways, although it also seems to transfer somehow.
Yeah, the resonator for sure.
let's say so if I'm playing low and I move my tongue around, you hear a pretty big color change.
Yeah.
If I play high, it just changes the note, unfortunately. I'm getting kind of brighter and darker, but it's also sort of like sharper and flatter in a way.
Yeah.
And I'm doing that through zone 3, zone 2 of the tongue moving.
Got it.
For me, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's like I just don't think that I need that much color change up there. I tend to think of that more as a function of like vibrato, intention, dynamic, like the amount of zing that you have.
Sure.
And none of that's affected by the vowel sound necessarily.
And I suppose it just could be that in that register, because you have to be kind of low in oral space or oral volume, that you really have very little left you can actually effectuate color wise in that range. Maybe there's, from like the lowest of the lows up to like A5, maybe that's really where you might have a range in impacting color in a
Yeah.
meaningful way.
As Heidi
Whereas once you
says, you can use your right hand to change the color. I mean,
okay,
name name a horn player or a recording that you've actually heard in the high range that they've played the same note with different colors to successful musical effect.
well, it's a newer concept to me, so I wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to give you an example of that. But
Yeah.
in studying with Andy Pelletier, he's
Yeah.
given me examples of playing in the higher register,
Uh-huh.
and impacting his color. So certainly
Okay.
I'll ask him what he does as well. But I was just curious in your take on that because I get the sensation that he's not a proponent of TCE
Oh,
in
okay.
what he does.
Uh-huh.
So I am not 100% confident, but also he's not playing notes really above a D.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, that has its place as well. So, if, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I love, I'm a huge fan of artistry. Like, I really wouldn't recommend horn playing without artistry. And
Right.
and yet somehow I feel like discussions of color are so fine grained, and that there's so much we can do with just making a beautiful, authentic, clear, stable sound that
Yeah.
starts accurately, is in tune.
Right.
The right hand is in the right place. It's not too veiled. It's not too open. I feel like if you can get that, like if you've
That's
got
like
that
the top 2%, maybe.
90% of the time, then
Yeah.
then yeah, go explore color. But otherwise, I would say it might be not the highest bang for your buck
Okay.
to even explore that concept right now, unless you're
Like
really
the 80
feeling like,
20.
oh, I need a dramatic different color. But the only time you really need a dramatically different color is usually if your chops are kind of wonky.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll just play us out and someone else who wants to go can come. I was just curious about those things.
Yeah. Do you want to play some music?
Sure.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Can you conduct and sing this?
Ti do do ti da dum ti da dum ti a da 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 ti a da da beep bop beep bop bum.
Great. Okay, beautiful. And now I want you just to imagine the conductors outside of you. You might even, outside of this, you might take your phone and record yourself conducting this and try playing along with the version of yourself and notice how different that is.
Sure.
But for now, try and play it with just conducting is happening. Yeah. With distractions too. Nice job.
Yeah, he's my I don't know what do you call it? The contextual interference.
Yeah, right. Adversity training.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the C sharp. Are you scared of the C sharp?
I mean, I don't believe so, but I'm sure I'm not convincing you of that.
I noticed that seems to be the note that has the most sort of imperfections or impurities, both either at the beginning of the excerpt or even in the middle of the excerpt. Ya be da 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 dee da, right there, and
Oh,
I just get the
interesting.
sense that it's not that you haven't like really gotten to know it and love it in the same way that if this was down a half step. Like try playing it
Yeah.
down a half step on B flat and C.
Just the call.
Well, and I start on a C. C F F. Ah, we got you. All right, so I so feel you.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's okay. Just do a little wiggle, a little reset. Yeah. And a couple more wiggles. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So I would play that a little bit. I'd play it that half step down and
Okay.
just notice how much you love that open C. Ooh, yum.
Yeah.
And then see if you can get that same relationship with the C sharp. Again, the vibrato long tones will be a nice way to really get to know where it is. You'll find the spot where it responds so beautifully well, and it's right in the center, and it's boom, 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 and then you want to practice recalling that.
Yeah. What you may not sense is that my comfort level with my articulation approach is
Yeah.
about the C or the D in the staff. So
Okay.
like everything below that, I feel like super rock solid on, and now I'm trying to use the TCE to get myself higher and higher to be comfortable articulating up in that register. So that's like the very tip top of where I feel comfortable right now. So it's also kind of this precarious zone of trust at the moment.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's understandable, but I want you to remember that there's practically no difference between a C and a C sharp, and you've got a beautiful C natural, and it's physically exactly the same as C sharp. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. There's nothing more. To,
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. That's the money.
Yeah, it feels good.
Uh huh. Uh huh. So just
Yeah.
several thousand more reps of that, and we'll call it a day.
Yeah. Building that trust. I like it.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. I think we're winding down. It was lovely to be with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for having it at a time that us Europeans can come.
Yeah, I know. That's
Maybe
the
I
benefit.
European.
That's the benefit of me being in London right now.
Hey, excellent. I hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.